Hey, everybody, and welcome to the SafeYields podcast. It's your 20-minute chat on the smartest places to earn, build, and explore in DeFi. I'm Mark, CMO of SafeYields, with Filipe, the CEO and co-founder of SafeYields. Today, we're joined by Roberto from Quill Finance. It's a platform redefining DeFi vault security, transparency, and smart yield management. So, Roberto, awesome to have you here. Where are you calling in from, and what inspired you to build Quill?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm calling from the north of Portugal, from a town that probably you never heard of called Braga. And what inspired me, so I've been exploring stablecoins for a long time. I think now everyone is realizing that is obviously a trend, and a lot of people, even from the more traditional sector, is coming into crypto and blockchain to explore more stablecoins. But last year, Liquity V2 announced the friendly fork program where they allowed people to fork Liquity V2. And just for reference, Liquity was a long-lasting stablecoin in the Ethereum ecosystem. And I saw that as an opportunity to pursue also another ecosystem that I was exploring, which was Scroll. And I've been very excited about ZK for a long time. And yeah, I end up with a few folks to getting the license to deploy the Liquity V2 fork on Scroll, and that's how Quill Finance was born. And we can get into more detail of what we are trying to do, but that's the story in a nutshell.
Awesome, man. Thank you. So before we jump into today's headlines, I just want to shine a quick spotlight on Emma AI, which is our autonomous agent at SafeYields. She's been running a delta neutral arbitrage strategy. Even with markets going up and down, Emma has posted positive returns last week. So we think it kind of shows how proactive systems like Emma or smart vault designs like Quill are changing how we interact with DeFi today. On to the first headline. Let's just kick things off with a bold statement from Token 2049, just taken place. Well, Eric Trump said the financial system is broken. He believes crypto will take over. I'm sure he's not the only one that believes this. So while the quote made big headlines, the broader message was that crypto represents an opportunity to rebuild trust, centralized power, and move away from outdated systems. So, Roberto, how do you interpret this kind of political support? Do you think it helps? Do you think it helps at all, or does it distract from the work happening in DeFi today?
I think it's always good, and I don't think it's distractive. I think it's important, and I got involved in blockchain and crypto in 2010, 2011. So I have come a long time from being alone in a room preaching what we are preaching today and no one listening to have like someone which is the son of the president of the United States saying stuff like this and people paying a lot more attention. So it's always good. People are paying attention to what they are saying, and it's always good to have people saying that a blockchain is a solution. Honestly, I don't like the broken term because I don't think it's broken. I think it just needs a massive improvement because the world changed a lot. We are using rails that were built across the last decades that are not prepared for the speed, for the all the reliance that we have on digital nowadays. So blockchain is that improvement. So it's what I see and what I trust to be like the best possible solution to improve a system that is in a lot of ways still stuck in the early thousands and stuff like that. So in a way, it's not my favorite kind of people that I like to pay attention when they say things about the financial sector and how it can be improved. But as a lot of people say, there is no bad advertising. It's always good to have people talk about it. And yeah, I think I'm aligned with him in the sense that a blockchain can be the solution.
All attention is good attention.
Yeah.
I actually do agree with Roberto's opinion. I'm also, I've said this before here in other episodes. I'm not the biggest fan of Trump family. However, we need to get our feet on the ground and say, okay, so they're doing good business for crypto. They might not be doing good business for the world in general, but they are doing it for crypto. That's for sure. And yeah, I mean, protocols like Quill, I think they can benefit a lot, and SafeYields even for the matter. Roberto here just mentioned the hype for stablecoins. And I think we're in an area, and I think Quill is kind of like a good example of that as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you had Ethena just blown up. So they're kind of like, stablecoin concepts that are not really backed by real assets, but they are collateralized by something that nowadays they have value. So we're talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on and so on, And, this would be super far-fetched, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years back even. So people wouldn't pay attention. So because now you have all these bigger players coming in. And that's why I think I agree with Roberto's, standpoint is that these people are bringing, most of all, by the end of the day, it's, confidence into digital assets. And I think that's good for all of us.
So, like, not all tokens and not all projects are created equal, but we can all agree that the spotlight being shone on crypto as a part of the macro economy is a good thing,
Yeah, for sure.
The thing is, you do have crappy assets in real world assets too. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
the Zimbabwe
this
dollar
is
is not
nothing new
doing
that's
very
happening
well.
in the world. It's just
Yeah, I actually mentioned that today in the early conversation that I had, that we tend to perceive a lot of problems that we have in crypto as crypto problems that are not crypto problems, are problems. And all the industries have them. And for example, I think the trust issues, the scammers, et cetera, they exist everywhere. It's true that sometimes in crypto, because it's all about, or at least the large part of it, we are talking about assets that are easily perceived and redeemed as money and value. It might be a little bit more easier or prone to some certain things, but a lot of this stuff happens everywhere, and we just need to keep building trustworthy products, trustworthy projects, stuff that people want to use. We need to continue to, if we are to replace an old financial system, we need to continue improving the UX of everything that we are building, and people will start using more and more these products as they become less about the tech and more about the value that they deliver.
completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great insight.
And there's
There's always going to be bad actors in any sector of the markets, And in Denmark, there's a saying that the smart outsmarts the less smart. It's always going to be that way. So, moving on, let's talk a little bit about global moves. Bhutan has been quietly mining Bitcoin at scale through a sovereign wealth fund, adding to its national infrastructure. So, according to some reports, they've been doing this at least since 2020. We see it as a surprising play for a country better known for its tourism, environmental protection, and just being super hot in general. Um, so what do you think, what do you guys think this signals about crypto's role in global economic strategy, especially for smaller or like, I mean, we could call them overlooked nations. We also got, what is it? Is it Ecuador or Chile that is also doing the same?
El
El
Salvador.
Salvador, yes.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's Bhutan that is the most happy country in the world, right?
I
And we
think
all know
so.
why. They are full of Bitcoin. That's why. No, I think it's amazing. I think every country that, doesn't have like a strong economy, doesn't have multiple revenue sources, doesn't have multiple organic resources, needs to find their ways to keep being a good place for their people to live and to prosper. And I think the ones that embrace technology will be ahead of time. And Bitcoin, in a way, what they are doing is like, we want to adopt this technology, and we want to adopt the fact that we can create a wealth fund here, and mining is a potential solution for that. It could be others. I think we'll see more and more countries doing that. And another thing that, touching on what you mentioned, that was surprising to everyone, I think that's maybe there is a lot of other countries that are doing what they are doing, or different flavors of what they are doing, but we don't know about it yet. I'll do the same, because you should not advertise that I'm investing a lot on Bitcoin and buying a lot of Bitcoin and then go buy it. You buy it and then you announce. And that could serve for other things related with blockchain. And just touching a little bit on a more personal aspect to this, as you guys know, Portugal, I'll say 2021, 2022 was very relevant in blockchain and crypto. So a lot of people were talking about Portugal. A lot of founders moved here. And it's actually a bit sad as a Portuguese that we didn't embrace that more on the political side. And I think that special or that moment vanished a little bit. And yes, you still have a lot of important builders and people moving here, but kind of went down a little bit. And I think that the way that we reacted was the opposite of what we should have been, which was try to combat it and try to scare people of coming here and to go after people that were building in crypto. And yeah, I hope that we can change that and be more prone to adoption of these technologies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
Do
also
you
have
agree,
to agree
Filipe?
there. Yeah, I mean, as a fellow Portuguese, we're actually on the almost opposite sides of the country. Myself and Roberto, so I'm center and he's north. And it's the two biggest cities in Portugal is Lisboa and Porto. Braga is close to Porto, so it's a big hub as well. I don't think the Web3 technology hasn't reached Porto as it has in Lisbon yet, but I think it's just a matter of time. We talked about mining governments mining Bitcoin, and I have no idea why Portugal why no one in Portugal just had the idea, because I don't know if you know this, Mark, but here we have a lot of renewable energy, and it's kind
Yes.
of like we sell it to the outside at the very premium, not premium, like very cheap price.
Hmm.
Most of times we just cannot even handle to store the energy. So, it's just like as an entrepreneur, it's a no-brainer, right? There's an opportunity, free energy. Why not mining? Why not mine something? I mean, you just mentioned that in Denmark, government usually, like when there's excess energy, they sell it to people, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, they pay people to use
They
the
pay
energy.
people once in a while, yeah, to spend
So,
energy.
yeah, imagine if we did plan like that. Portugal is also a country that lives off tourism too. It doesn't look like it, but we do live off tourism. I think it's like 70 to 80% of our economy. It's a big number. So yeah, it's kind of sad. I'm with Roberto on this one too. So it's kind of sad that we didn't take the boat and rode the wave as we should. At the same time, I mean, we are in the wing of the European Union, and there's Mika is kind of getting strict on this. I just hope that we can independently just move past all of these challenges that are occurring. Um, Again, we want to start these protocols. I'm not sure on the legal side of Quill Finance, and that's actually a good question for Roberto as well. But SafeYields has been having the trouble with incorporating the company in Portugal, so we have to find other solutions, which is kind of sad. I don't know if you're hurting from the same issues, Roberto, but
Yeah, everyone. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's kind of frustrating.
a long lasting issue. But I actually wanted to touch another point, which also relates a little bit with what we are doing. So Quill Finance lives within the Scroll ecosystem. It's a native stablecoin for the Scroll ecosystem, which is a ZK rollup for Ethereum. And one of the things that Scroll is betting on is they are betting on supporting emerging markets that want to adopt these technologies. Global South, South America, Global South in general, more specifically Southeast Asia, Africa, and Brazil, Argentina, countries like that, and regions like that. And that's where we also plan to grow Quill a lot. So we want to be aligned with Scroll on that strategies, try to have products that are aiming to those regions of the globe to use our stablecoin. And I what I'm seeing and hearing from people that are building and that are focused on these regions is that the adoption is very, very real. So we all know stablecoins are growing a lot in these regions, and not just stablecoins, other kind of products, stuff to support FX, stuff to support access to capital, access to dollars, get away from inflation and stuff like that. So I think it's normal and natural that smaller, more fragile countries or economies are the first ones to adopt this kind of technologies. And that's what we saw in El Salvador. Everyone called their president a little bit crazy in the beginning when he started buying Bitcoin, but no one is calling him crazy now. I think it was an excellent moment for him to be public about it, and it's an excellent example that played out very well. We don't know a lot of numbers from this Bhutan's project, but I'm sure that they are doing well as well.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to look too far to understand it. It's just that when your inflation is 2, 3, 4%, I mean, you don't really realize it in a matter of like 10 years or so. But when your inflation rate is 40%, I mean, every day you're getting just by holding something that is not your currency. So it just makes sense. Yeah.
The Maldives. So they bet $8.8 billion on blockchain to counter economic and debt challenges. They announced they'll invest into the blockchain infrastructure. It's nearly the size of its entire economy, $8.8 billion. So the goal is to create economic resilience, reduce debt dependency, and become a Web3 friendly hub. They're already like Bhutan, a very friendly country. So do you guys also see this as a serious bet on the future of blockchain, or are they just making headlines? If it's real, what does this mean for how we design infrastructure in DeFi?
Yeah. My first take is that I hope that in a few years, every country economy is run on blockchain. So the ones that start early maybe will be ahead of the game and get more gains from that. But if we look at what a government should be doing with money, which is in general our money, in some cases, monarchies and stuff like that, it's not exactly that, but in democracies, mainly it's people's money, and we allow them to spend our money. We give them money to spend on things to run society and to improve people's lives. And I think it kind of goes in line with the description of what the blockchain is. Like, you want it to be transparent, you want it to be auditable. And I think it makes total sense that with a little bit or a small detail, which is also important, and we still need to do a few things there, which is privacy as well. We get more governments using these rails, which make more sense than just doing more obscure stuff across banks and other institutions. So I think a small country. Do you guys remember what happened with Estonia a few years ago when they digitalized everything and suddenly they were like a major economy in Europe, attracting a lot of businesses because of that? I think this is exactly what you can do if you do a play like this one, which is we are adopting more innovative rails. It'll be easier for you to do everything here. If you come to visit us, you can very easily get like access to capital, loans, etc., and you are out of the game. And maybe for a while that will be like a factor of differentiation. If you are looking to invest or to visit a country, you prefer to go there instead of the other one, which is their competitor, and people are more willing to do it. Yeah, it's amazing news. I hope it's not just headlines. Again, it'll be great to see, like, to start seeing like some POCs, and these things. Normally it's better when they start small and they start by, now this part of the government is managed on this specific blockchain and stuff like that. But let's see.
Yeah,
Awesome. So
agree that.
normally also just regarding the Maldives, a funny thought, it's like normally it's your wife or your girlfriend is like, baby, let's go to the Maldives. It's so beautiful. Maybe in the future it's gonna be your crypto bro. It's like, guys, let's go to the Maldives.
Oh, withdraw everything to cash.
Yes, exactly. All
No, but
right.
it's a good point. So I think like you touched on a point. The case of Estonia with the digital assets. This might be the first step that most countries take. To be honest, that's the feeling that I have. Take it with a grain of salt. But I think digital assets against blockchain technology has one major handicap for us average Joes, which is they still can have the whole control of your assets, and that's not something you want. So one of our guests here, which was sorry, not Patrick, from it was Richard. I was kind of like messing those names up. Remember Richard? So Richard was a guest of ours, and he mentioned that, would you want something like a camera in your house that would, control everything that you're doing? Would you be comfortable with that? Of course not, right? So why would you be comfortable with, any second that can happen? Someone will, get into your account and just see all the transactions that you've made and just can block them or make you not financially independent all of a sudden. You wouldn't want something like that, right? So blockchain data actually comes with a layer of security in that sense, and I think transparency, which is something that I'm sure Roberto you advocate on Quill, is that people can understand. Aside from governmental reserves, they are public, but you never know what's there and what's not. Right? So Germany also wanted to withdraw all the gold from from the US, and there was a big part of it that wasn't withdrawn. So we don't really know if it was really there or not, if it was spent. But that doesn't happen with blockchain technology, right? So I'm sure you advocate for this on Quill. the way you collateralize your assets. I'm sure you make it public to the people, and that's something that
Absolutely. Yeah,
just
it's
keeps everyone.
completely on chain. So there is nothing happening off chain. It's all through smart contracts, the liquidations, the redemptions. So it's all transparent and public. What do I feel that we still need to improve, and goes into the fear that you're mentioning about the camera in your house, is that, and that's why I'm also bullish about ZK Technologies. We need privacy. We need a privacy layer on top of this. Every time that I send Philip money, I don't want Filipe to know how much money and assets I have. So we need something here in the middle. And it's not for all use cases, but for a very large number of use cases, we need a privacy layer that allows me to send money to Filipe. And Filipe knows that I was the one sending the money. He received the money on his account, but he cannot see my full balance and stuff like that. I think that's something that in a lot of projects, in a lot of use cases, we still need to make a lot of progress.
Makes a
Great.
lot of sense.
Yeah.
A lot of sense. Yeah, so speaking about the security, transparency, and all of this, so from our own SafeYield signals, we're starting to see users want more than just high APYs. They're also asking about exactly vault security and asset quality, transparent strategies. So, Roberto, are you guys over at Quill noticing that shift as well?
Not exactly that I'm noticing a shift. I think people right now, we are at a level that people expect, that that safety is there, and they go after the information that allows them to know if that safety is there. Like being properly audited, like having economic security in your protocols, like how are you designing the protocol? People expect that that information is public and it's easy to get. They can understand it very easily. The design that we have in our protocol is also comes from the Liquity V2, so it's also known team. So I think we rely a little bit on that. They are very trustworthy. They never had any issue with their Liquity V1, and it's been running for 4 years. So I think the level of like quality that people expect is very high. And as a builder, you need to guarantee that you have that in front of them, like your audits, how the security model works, the economic model, etc., etc. And people accept a smaller group of degens that they will always pursue the next crazy thing that can bring a lot of returns. But most people are tired of that thing that we had from 2020, 2021, and all of those years that was a lot of crazy experimentation, which was important. I think it's probably we all lost money and a lot of people lost money in that, but I think it's part of the growth. But now people are different kinds of users. Like you want people that want to use these protocols because they return 10% and they want to put part of their capital on those on with that potential of increasing 10% per year. Maybe you want to put more capital in something a little bit more edgy that gives you 20%. But you are not just throwing money into a vault that gives you 300% unless you are one of those degens that it's okay with that. They are managing their risk, and they don't care if that blows up in a day or two. I think it's more people, more proficiency, more literacy, reading what's there, and also a lot of scars. So people have a lot of scars in their backs, so they that's an hard way to learn, but you do learn and you move on. And the next time you, instead of just throwing money into some new protocol that you don't know if it was audited and you don't know how it works, you do a little bit of research.
Yeah, there's actually we nowadays we actually have like sets of rules before investing in crypto. So is it audited? Is it transparent? Is the team doxed? Is is the yield sustainable? So nowadays, and I think we're feeling quite a kind of a double-edged sword for SafeYields at this time, because we are fundraising. It's never been so hard to fundraise. That's the bad side for us. The good side is the people who are in crypto nowadays, especially bigger companies, they're becoming like really knowledgeable about what's happening, and that's good because when they see a good protocol, they want them to support it. So yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, and I can back it up.
More asking for how many days is left for the runway and 1% a day compounding and all that stuff, you know?
Lambo.
Oh man, when Lambo. All right. So for anybody tuning in late, Roberto, could you just give us a quick rundown? So what is Quill Finance and what problem are you guys solving? And what challenges are you guys currently facing?
So Quill Finance is the first native stablecoin for the Scroll ecosystem. It's a Liquity V2 fork, friendly fork. So we are creating a new stablecoin that will boost the Scroll ecosystem, help people leverage their assets. We use ETH, either SafeYields, wrap stake ETH, and Scroll as collaterals. We have the possibility to add a few other assets as collaterals, and we will. But after adding 3 more collateral assets, we are going to shut that down, and the protocol will be more immutable. And people can also make money by depositing USDQ, which is our stable coin, into the stability pools, earn money from that, and they can use the stable coin across the ecosystem on Scroll in several projects. So that's what we are doing. Super excited. We went live yesterday. So I'm not sure when we are.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Not sure when you are listening to this, but go to quill.finance, try it out, explore what we are doing. And if you have any questions, please reach out on X/Twitter or on our Discord.
Awesome, man.
Would you want to share a little bit about the juicy APRs that you're generating, or is it too soon?
No, it's you can see it live there. It's always on the website. I think we have one of the branches is very high right now. It's returning 300% or something, because that depends on the difference between the amount that people borrowed and what is deposited on the stability pools. But on average, I'll say that it's around 30% right now. It depends also with the growth of the protocol. But yeah, it's something that people can keep an eye on. And also, if you use Quill and deposit on Quill, there are a bunch of partners that we have partnered with, and you can get points or APYs from other protocols. And also, we are running our points program. It started since day 0. So if you use Quill, you are earning ink blobs. That's the name that we called our points program. And after we run it, we will convert it to tokens. And when we do our TG, we can get the Quill token, which will play an important role in the governance of the protocol. One of the aspects of the Liquity V2 forks is that everything that is generated in terms of revenue is managed through governance. 75% goes into the stability pools, but 25% through governance, you can redirect it to different avenues, including the token holders if the governance decides to. So that's an important aspect of the Quill token. And yeah, if you play around with the protocol now, you are exposed to the points program that gives you tokens.
Awesome.
Awesome, man. I'm gonna check that out right after this one.
Yeah, you
I
can
think
see
that's
these
a
guys
wrap.
have been into space for quite a while now.
Yeah, man, you can definitely tell that. And we just want to give a big thanks to Roberto from Quill Finance for joining us, and again, big congratulations on going live yesterday.
Thank you so much for
That's
having me.
awesome, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome, man. So if anybody listening wants to explore any safer ways to generate yield without compromising transparency, check out Quill.finance. If you want to go for AI-powered vaults, signal engines like Emma, visit SafeYields.io. And until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and thank you, everybody. And thanks to you too.
Cheers.
Thank you. Have a great day.